welcome back to Return to the Mac. M.A.C, Moss, Andrew Carl, back in the building once again. Episode 225, the final episode.
Season finale.
It's been a long season. It's been a long season.
It's been a long season, man.
I guess that's how the players feel. You know?
If it was an actual TV show, we would have been syndicated, man. We would have been syndicated by now with all these episodes. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
They got your reruns.
Checks forever.
That would be nice. I could get used to that. What's good, though?
And shit, you know.
Big week?
Big week. A lot of big week.
Oh, with the music and the Super Bowl and obviously the end of our finale episode.
There's a lot of shit going on.
A lot of stuff going on.
Shit going on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Anything you want to get into before we start the topics? We got tons of them.
I mean, just know that, you know, beautiful big titty women just don't fall out the sky, you know.
Sure, it's a fact that we discussed and decided that it was a true lyric. Can't disprove it.
It doesn't happen.
I've never seen it. I'm not gonna say it's an impossibility. It may be possible. Somebody might get lucky.
They told us it rain cats and dogs. We ain't seen that yet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe everywhere at once, though. You never know.
That's true, too. I suppose. How about that Super Bowl?
The tree falls and nobody's around. Did it fall?
No, really. What do you think about Super Bowl?
Super Bowl 58?
58?
58?
I only know that from the boosts. All the sports books try to do their cute little 58% boost and shit.
Oh, yeah. I seen one
from all of the numerology.
Clips. I seen the conspiracy clips.
That's
5 8, 13.
13, there's 13 there, yeah.
Taylor dropped a 13 album called 13. This will be her 13th game she's been at with the Chiefs. There's a lot of numbers they put around with the 13 shit, so it's weird, you know.
The week in between, the week leading up to the Super Bowl, I pretty much am tapped out on Super Bowl content. So I didn't watch anything this week that had to do with the Super Bowl for real.
Word.
I kind of missed that stuff. But the game, I was interested in the game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Game got off to a weak start.
Yeah.
Awful first half.
It was supposed to be such an exciting game. You got these two high-powered offenses. And it was boring as shit.
I told y'all, man, the defenses is too good to just let points run up.
First half was terrible, though. I mean,
the fumbles, I think, is what makes it
was the turnovers. We saw some terrible turnovers in the first half.
Well, both teams fumbled, running backs fumbled in the red zone in the first half. That happened.
Yeah, McCaffrey fumbled like less than 2 minutes into the game, which is a shocker in and of itself. And then Pacheco does it inside the 10. They said that was his first fumble of the year. It just was
that's tough. I didn't know it was the first fumble of the year.
I'm fairly certain I heard that. I'm pretty sure that's what they had said. Damn. But I kind of expected the defenses were going to show up and play well. And you can always get like some first beginning of the game kind of nerves, Super Bowl. But the fumble is what, to me, made it like a nasty start.
Yeah.
That's not like any kind of great defensive play. These guys just you got to hold the ball.
Then Mahomes still was picking the first half too, right?
Was that the second very beginning of the second half?
Oh shit, gotcha. Yeah. That was ugly too. That was it's a terrible ball that he threw.
Just literally no.
I think the worst he's thrown in the playoff game that I've seen in recent memory, anyway, or postseason game.
Yeah, I had no idea where he was going with it.
Yeah.
But Niners went up 10-0. Niners went up 10-0. I think early in the second quarter, they do a little trick play. Is it Jawan Jennings?
Yeah,
his name?
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings throws a touchdown to McCaffrey. I thought as soon as they threw it backwards, I was like, oh, not this stupid shit. But then as the play unfolded, it was like, it worked perfect.
I thought it was going to play. I thought it was going to be a pass to Purdy.
Oh, back to him.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It took so long for it to develop. Like, I thought it was going to be a bust or something, or he was going to end up having to take a sack or some shit like that. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit! All of a sudden, McCaffrey. Who? I forget.
Yeah, it was McCaffrey.
Yeah. Caught the pass out of nowhere, and it's like just opened up for him. So
lobbed that shit across the field too. That shit was in the air for a minute.
I think that's what it was. Like the whole play just looked like this is never going to work. And then once he caught the ball, there was like literally nobody around. He let McCaffrey do his thing.
And, I mean, after that, I think, and then. Of course, San Fran scores again. Jawan Jennings catches that like slant or whatever and goes into the end zone. I'm like, man, this dude could win fucking MVP on some bullshit. Like he was their best wide receiver up to that point, at least the most clutch one anyway. Like he was coming up big. I'm not saying it the best. Like
I think like nobody had shown themselves.
Yeah,
So at a certain point, it was kind of like a default. If they win, he's thrown a touchdown. He's caught a touchdown.
Pivotal moments. Yeah.
How could you not give it to him? And later on, McCaffrey ends up running his yards.
That changed. Like maybe I don't know. Like a couple possessions later, McCaffrey's breaking off another big screenplay or some shit like that again. So you're like, all right, well, he's in his mode now too. So yeah.
For at least like first 3 quarters, you really didn't know who was going to win the MVP. It looked like to me.
Yeah, because Mahomes wasn't really good.
I mean, you could say McCaffrey, but it was like default McCaffrey would have got it if they would have won. But
I think it flip flopped a lot. Like it was Jennings. When you thought that the 49ers were going to win, it was Jennings, and then it was McCaffrey, and then like towards the end of the game, of course, it was like, oh well, nobody but Mahomes at this point.
Yep.
So was it later in the game? Did y'all think the Niners were going to win?
No, because they was giving the Chiefs too many chances.
Yeah, once you go up 10-0, like I feel like that's kind of the pivotal spot where you've got to push it that extra step to get you a 17-point lead. If you keep it at 10 or less, and you get later and later into the game, and I don't even remember all the sequences. I was telling him like I was at a Super Bowl party. It was like 20 people over there.
Oh yeah.
So like I was watching the game, but there's so much going on. It wasn't like I'm tuned in like a regular Sunday. But when they when they got the extra point blocked, it was like, oh, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be trouble that they didn't go up for. And then later on in the game, they were able to just get a field goal to tie it and send it into overtime.
I was here watching it. I think James came through. He was watching this shit. And when they hit that record-setting field goal that the Niners hit.
It was back-to-back ones.
Yeah,
it was 55-yard
record. Like the longest field goal in the Super Bowl ever.
Yeah, Butker got the first one right.
Yeah.
And
we both said this game is going to be a 3-point win in this game just because of that record setting
55-yarder. Yeah.
And it was a 3-point game.
That's impressive, especially from the rookie kicker.
Yeah.
That's what tough.
You got 55-yard bomb, but then Butker came in later with the 57. No big deal.
Yeah,
both of these guys.
Light work.
Making a rain.
Room to spare. They don't like it barely made it either. Right? They bust them joints.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid game, and I think I towards the end of the game, I did think that the Chiefs were going to win. Like they're just one of them teams. It's like the Warriors, once they even, they leaving type thing. Like it's you can't let him hang around or within one score of the game, or I mean, and then this one technically 2 scores.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I was trying to hold out hope a little bit for San Fran at the end of the game, but when they kicked the 3, you just know you turn the ball back. You turn the ball back over to Mahomes right here, dog. Like the game's over. That's when I knew, like, all right, he's not gonna kick a field goal. You crazy,
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Travis Kelce dagger. That ends the game.
Yeah.
But it ends up being the same fucking play they ran twice last year.
I wish he did, though.
I just don't understand.
That's a nice bet in for that.
Oh, did you?
McCaffrey first TD and Kelsey the last TD. That should have been
I thought that was a very likely scenario.
That should have been lovely.
But I just don't understand how you can get burned by that play.
The Clayton Doll?
I get it.
That's their play.
Yeah,
but you got it, though. Like, if we down here in the red zone, they going to run this play.
But I think you're just not expecting Mecole Hardman's a guy that we got to be tuned in on.
Or anybody running that action, though.
Yeah, but
it's just the play.
I assume it just comes down to the personnel, though. Like, we're going to pay a lot of attention to Kelsey. We're going to pay attention to Rice. Like, that's not a guy I'm looking.
Look at the guys who ran that play last year. It was Kadarius Toney and it was Sky Moore.
Mm-hmm.
It's the no-name guys.
Yeah.
So once you see that action, all you got to do is stay disciplined. And one guy the guy on the outside saying, I'm staying outside, even if it's man, you're going to run it like a zone. You're going to say, I'm going to stay outside and I'm going to stay inside. That's it.
But like such a quick misdirection play and you're on the goal line.
It's hard.
If you ain't on it, then you missed it. You
right. It's a hard concept to defend, especially when they got them reeling as they do.
You have to almost like know it's coming before the play even start.
But that's part of being a professional athlete.
I mean, that's
part of being a defensive coach too. Like, yo, we got to think about the things that they're going to run and towards the end of the game with things that came out behind, from 49ers players, they didn't really know the situations or what was going on. So you do want to, wonder how well were they coached up for these type of scenarios. And
yeah, that was the most interesting thing.
I thought that was overblown.
Them not knowing the overtime rules?
That's not overblown.
It has no impact on the players. Once you're in overtime, you're not playing the overtime differently one way or the other. The guys that are on the field are still in the exact same moment that they would always be in. It puts them in a bad position. Yeah. And I think he made a mistake, the coach did, in his decision, whether he knew what he was doing or not. But them not realizing that they didn't win off the first possession doesn't change anything.
I don't know why they would think they would win off the first possession if you just kicked the field goal anyway.
Yeah, well, that makes it even more dumb.
Yeah, so I don't get that part at all. But and I don't know if they felt that way or not. But
what would it change? And that's a legitimate question.
Just I don't know. Just maybe
they went for the touchdown instead.
But I don't know.
That still is all the coaches.
That's on the coaching, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't think that they were going to win off of a touchdown. I don't know how confused they were in that situation.
Right.
It's like defensively, maybe they didn't think, we can't give up a touchdown right here and the game's fucking over. Because it looks like
there's no way nobody
maybe I don't know.
Giving up a touchdown at the end,
even at the beginning of the overtime.
Maybe they thought they'd get
they wouldn't have got. Didn't they get win the toss? They wouldn't have got the ball first. They might have would have.
But talking about that's a coaching decision.
Yeah, that's my point. All of it is a bad. Like, I'm not saying it's not a bad coaching decision. Going into the Super Bowl, you should have your guys prepared for whatever situation's going to come up.
Yeah.
But like talking about it, the players saying that they didn't realize that it wasn't over after the first score. I'm saying the actual effect on the game doesn't impact anything that the players are doing. They're not playing differently, assuming that we only have to get this field goal. The calls are still coming from the coach. They're playing as hard as they can. It just didn't end when they thought it would possibly. But like you said, they only got a field goal. So there's no reason for them to think that would have been the end of the game because that's not even a regular season.
Right. Yeah. So
I just think it's irrelevant. I think it's kind of a dumb detail. It got blown up because the calling out Kyle Shanahan that's the most easy target for why they lost this game. And I'm not even saying that that's the wrong person to call it out because I think it was. I think taking the ball in overtime was stupid.
Is the overtime thing when it was like, it's like a quarter, so it doesn't run out. What was it before? Was it before like you had to start over and a coin flip again if it was a second overtime?
No, I think they were pointing that out because it seemed like the Kansas City didn't realize the rules. And it's like, why are they letting it run down to like 6 seconds left?
Right.
Because you would think that the game would be over at the end of the first overtime.
Right.
But they're saying it's just like a quarter flip to where if they let that clock run out, they're not out of time.
To get the ball at the same
Which
spot.
I think that's a bad rule. But
yeah, that's weird.
Doesn't matter. I don't think it matters, but you can give both teams the ball. That's cool. But like, you still got to score within the parameters of this one quarter, or it's over. Is what I think it should be.
Right.
Yeah, because really they should just turn the clock off. If they're playing the way that they're playing right now, the clock doesn't matter.
Yeah, after the first score.
Right. I mean,
but it just would feel funny. There's just not a game clock.
Well, it's like it would be like college OT, right? Like the clock doesn't necessarily matter, and that is just by scoring at this point. So if we're playing next score wins or whatever that may be, then why does the clock matter? Because the game has to end with the winner.
Yeah.
It's just kind of arbitrary to even keep time at that point.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, I for some reason I can't recall when was the last Super Bowl that went to an OT.
They said it was
the Atlanta one.
That was
Atlanta
the only
Patriots.
time. The only other time
that was the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that going to overtime.
I thought y'all won in regulation. I didn't remember.
That's what I was thinking because when it went into OT, I'm like, man, is this the first fucking Super Bowl that I've ever seen to go into overtime?
It broke 2 records: the biggest comeback and the first overtime.
And for Shanahan to be on the end of both of those in some fashion, or some really like executive role there, like That's huge, man. That's a huge dent in his coaching legacy because I think we all view him as maybe a top three coaching.
Current coaches, yeah, probably so.
Yeah, most likely,
probably so.
I mean, does that? I mean,
0-3 in Super Bowls. We were just talking about that. One of them was OC, but you know.
I mean, but still, and for the way it's happened every time, you had a double-digit lead in every single one of them, and you've lost every single one of them.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's true. It's tough, but it certainly will. Like you said, I think the hit on the legacy is the best way to put it. So I think that's like when we look back at his record or whatever, I think that will be like a pretty big stain. If you're asking me, like, do I still think he's a top 3 or 4 coach or whatever? Like, I don't think it changes anything. I'm still not like looking at that guy as like, I don't want him because he's going to screw it up. I know he has, but like, there's only a couple guys that I'm going to say are a better coach than this guy. Yeah. I don't think it changes my opinion much. But
2 of the best comeback QBs that ever played the game.
Right.
So it's like, what can you say?
When I was telling most before, it's like, 0-3 is true, but I think it's like kind of a cute stat where it's like, who else's record are we keeping of their OC record? It's like, what are you as head coach in the Super Bowl? 0-2. But it's like, but that one was a crazy OC.
It's so bad, though. It's so bad.
And it's so crazy. You got to have it in there. It's so crazy.
It's so 28-3? Is that what it was? 28-3?
Yeah.
Holy shit. You know?
Too nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think you would clearly still look at him as a top 5 coach for sure, but it's something there, right? Like that's something. And maybe it's just a hump that you can't get over. Because
I think it's more than that, bro.
Because look, I mean, we forget about shit like we forget about Andy Reid's 21 years.
Right.
You know,
once you do it, it's done.
That's what I mean, that's the same argument. And so for some guys, it may never happen. I do understand that. But it's similar to the same argument that I make about Lamar Jackson and shit. It's just like, eventually when the shit happens, it don't fucking matter, right? It's just like.
But it has to happen.
It has to happen. In some certain extents, you know, in certain cases. Because Andy Reid could have retired without winning a Super Bowl, and he still would have been a Hall of Fame caliber coach.
Right, sure. Right. But now he's in a whole
other stratosphere.
He might be the greatest coach of all time by the time he retires. Those will be the conversations.
He gets 2 more than his resume.
He's pretty close high on the wins list, too.
Yeah. I mean, his resume is stacked up, and he says he's going to coach for a little bit longer. I mean, obviously he's the super genius offensive mind, and it's fun to watch, and it's crazy that he's this old, but it seems like the league still can't catch up. And I get that it's mostly probably a Mahomes thing.
Yeah, I say, and you got Mahomes.
I think what he does. Go ahead.
But it's also, I mean, he's putting guys like McCall Hardman in place to make plays and stuff like that. So he's dialing it up in the right times. Yeah, right.
MVS and Hardman caught Super Bowl touchdowns in this game.
And look, I mean, you do need Mahomes because, plain and simple, that one catch that Hardman had where Mahomes threw it up in the air.
The deep ball.
The deep ball, like that traveled like 50 yards. Like, first, come on. You're not finding like 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the league who can make this throw. And it's probably one dude who can do it all the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, accurately all the time. And that's Mahomes. Like, the DB didn't even think a guy could throw it that far. This nigga was completely lost. He had no clue the ball would travel that far.
Like, no way he threw that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, he did.
All the money. So I get that it's a little bit of both there, but you got to have that to have a back-to-back championship type team. But
everything has to come together.
I think he also seems like kind of like, I don't even need to say the other name as a bad comparison. I think he does a good job of keeping up with the times as far as being a player's coach.
Yeah.
Where he obviously has the respect of the guys on the team, except for Kadarius Toney. But
and Travis Kelce.
I think nothing of that.
What's going on with that?
Nothing of that. Let's go ahead and let's hear that. I think this is the dumbest thing to have gotten.
They made a big deal about Kelce, like basically bumping Andy Reid and screaming on him on the sideline after they fumbled their ball. After that Pacheco fumble, which I don't know why he was mad. I think he was mad because he won on the field.
I think he just either that or just wasn't the target.
Yeah, they made it like usually he would be like one of the lead blockers in that situation on that play. So I guess he was mad that he wasn't on the end on that play when it happened, which is still like he fumbled. Like if he fumbled, There's nothing you could have did to stop it.
Honestly, man, look, I think it was a little unnecessary what he did to Andy Reid, but I want dudes like that on my sideline though. Yeah. Like that when I always, steal a reference, but when George Pickens does that shit, I don't give a fuck. He wants to win the game. That's what I want. I want people who want to win the game on the sideline. You saw the interaction with Patrick Mahomes and the young wide receiver Rice on the sideline. When Mahomes was like, motherfucker, he rolled the snap back to me. I had to get rid of the ball when Rice was complaining about
game.
Yeah,
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I missed that.
I
didn't see that.
You seen that one play where
missed him over the middle?
He missed him over the middle. He ended up chucking it and Rice was like complaining on the sidelines, and Mahomes got in his face and was like, "Motherfucker!" He rolled the snap back to me. I had to get rid. He could read his lips, and he said, "It's funny." But I mean, that's what you want. I mean, people think that's an issue. It's an issue when you have a losing sideline. When you got guys losing, but when, you're winning like that, you're holding each other
it's intense,
accountable.
And people that ain't never played football don't understand that. When motherfuckers screaming on somebody, it's intense. Games are intense, especially a game with this level.
Sometimes that's the only way you get through.
You gotta get your shit off. However you get it off. You ain't trying to think about how you say it in the moments. You just trying to say how you feeling in that moment, and that's how it comes off. So it's like, I'm sure Andy Reid obviously didn't take that shit personally or felt some type of way about it. He was like, my man is hype. He's hype right now. He's pissed off because we've turned the ball over in the Super Bowl. I mean,
I got no problems with the screaming and stuff like that. I don't like it when there's been like a couple of specific ones where AJ Brown was doing that like after the Eagles scored a touchdown and he didn't get the ball. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I hear you. You want the ball. So, like, you're not going to be screaming like that because we scored and you didn't get to score the touchdown. Yeah. I'm fine with dude going off because it's like, yo, we made a turnover. We messed up in the Super Bowl or whatever. I should be out there. I think those are a little bit different. Yeah. And, like, when the guys are just pouting on the sidelines, I'm not a fan of that.
It's funny because AJ Brown tweeted.
I don't care.
He tweeted after. If I would have did that, I would have kicked out the league. Like, shut up. Shut up, bro. Like, it's not the same.
He ain't wrong.
Kicked out the league.
He is, bro.
Kicked out the league. No, he wouldn't have got kicked out the league, but he would have been vilified to another level for sure. But I think
it also he's portrayed for seasons.
Yeah, he has a bad rep of pouting when he's not getting the ball.
Look, Travis Kelce ain't no saint either.
He got call for diva if you want to.
He ain't no saint either on the field. He's got a pretty bad record as well. And I'm not saying that he's right or wrong necessarily, but like I'll say I'm indifferent. I can see both sides. That's all I'm gonna say.
I can't see AJ Brown's side. I could see people saying that he's doing too much.
He's the wrong person to say that. He's put that tweet out in the atmosphere, I would think. Just because he has that bad rep of pouting when they're winning and he's not getting the ball. It's like, you can't be that guy.
That don't happen with Travis Kelce.
Yeah, you're not doing
Travis Kelce on the win. He about winning. He about his business. I will. Yeah, that's for sure. And I think it's different because he is a winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this ain't their first rodeo, motherfucker. This is the third time that they back-to-back champions. Yeah. It was the fourth time and he's been in that situation. Like, he know what it take to win. If he get a little fired up about something, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? If anybody should, then he should. He know what it take. You don't see no rookies doing it on the sideline. You ain't earned that shit yet. Like, he's earned all of that, and he's built a relationship with Andy Reid. They understand each other better than anybody on the outside could. So, no, I have no issue.
That's a good point. I think that is the difference, though. If you're a winner or if you're a loser.
Right.
Like I said earlier, like, they used to do that Brady and Cam Newton thing. When Cam Newton would go off, they would be like, oh, he's so acting crazy on the sideline. But Brady, he's just passionate about the game. But it's like, no, Brady wins. So he can go off on somebody. I think that season or whatever they was comparing, Cam was having a bad year and was pouting and not coming to interviews and shit like that. So it's like, you have a different perception of your situation when you're doing it.
Yeah, that's the same reason Draymond gets so much leeway.
Yeah.
Right.
He's viewed as a winner. Like, even he takes it too far to where even people question him.
You understand that that's tangible. Like that's what he needs to get him over there.
If that was chips being if that was Isaiah Stewart for the Pistons, we're not taking that shit.
Right.
You wild.
Yeah. It's
trying to steal off on LeBron.
I still love that guy. Shout out to Isaiah Stewart.
It's a bit different.
I bet it was leaking though.
Man, they were
just leaking. I was saying, still doing. He was leaking when we tried to charge at LeBron. Remember that game? I think it was last season.
Oh, leading like crazy, trying to break through everybody to run it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What were you saying about the game?
Oh, I can't remember.
Damn.
All good.
Did you watch the halftime show?
I did not.
What?
I didn't watch it
at all. Not 1 minute.
Not a minute of it.
That's wild. What the fuck was you doing?
Not watching the halftime show.
Oh, my bad. All right. Yeah, there's something else going on. But
wasn't watching it.
But you missed the good one, though. That shit was fire.
So I've heard. I heard it was a good halftime.
Usher showed his ass a little bit. He showed his ass. Like, I was surprised how many, of course, Usher has 20 years of fucking hits. But he compiled like at least a good 15 of them.
I think he played for 45 minutes.
In that 15 minutes, like it was like, damn, he just kept going. It kept going. It was like a little 30 second, maybe not even 30 seconds, maybe like 15 seconds of each joint. Other joints he did longer than others, but he went crazy. Like he showed his ass. That shit was fire.
I thought he did a good job. Did a good job. Brought all of the guests that you would want to see.
Yep.
You were trying to guess who would be there.
Yeah,
Lil Jon is who I thought they were. So I thought he was bringing out one guest. So I thought that Lil Jon was going to be the guy.
Yeah,
then he just kept rolling out.
Brought Luda,
Jermaine Dupri, JD, Alicia Keys. Yeah.
What's up with JD looking like? They say look like a boss man.
That fit look wild. That fit look wild.
What's up with people just
brought out her killed it on the guitar.
Oh, that's right.
She killed it. He had a lot of guests.
They said she won't really play the guitar.
It looked like she won't. Like looking at it, you can see maybe there's like a playback or whatever. But she actually can play instruments though. So
I ain't saying she can't, but I'm saying that some people that's like, she ain't doing.
If she was, we know that she actually can play. So it might have been just doing that because it is the Super Bowl and you don't want to,
Somebody at the party said that, and I just thought they were just like goofing around because they didn't know who she was, but. That's a thing.
It did because she was so like chill when she was doing it. It looked like she wasn't really playing, like she was just moving her finger, but she actually could play a lot of instruments.
Yeah, she's like I feel like she worked with a Prince or something. She's like a student of Prince. Yeah. I've seen her play.
So she knows how to play all her shit and do what she does, but that shit was fire.
Possibly. I didn't know that was her.
Yeah, it was her.
I didn't know that was,
double pump.
Yeah, well, it was her.
Wow.
I hate it because of that.
Right.
It's like too much.
But it works though.
It does. I hate it though. I hate it because you always got to re-explain yourself.
Yeah, that was her. Who was her? No, her.
Her.
You know her.
Yeah. What does it stand for?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's an acronym, right?
I don't know.
I think she just stylizes it with it broken up, but it could be. It's just like H.E.R. or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was good though. I thought it was a good performance.
Now tell me for like at least like 10 seconds. When Will.I.am came out there with that helmet
definitely
on,
did.
You didn't think it was Kanye.
No, I definitely did. Definitely thought so.
I was like, I knew this nigga ain't bring out Kanye to the Super Bowl.
I definitely thought the same thing. Well, just so used to seeing the mask.
Yeah, it was the mask. The mask really threw you off, but then you realized it was that OMG Oh My God song.
Yeah.
Will.I.am is on that.
Yeah, he did have a Super Bowl appearance though, didn't he?
I saw that he had a commercial. I didn't see that during the game.
Commercial.
He did have a commercial.
Paid no attention to the majority of the commercials.
Did you see it during the game?
It was, it was, he shot the whole thing on his iPhone. It was,
it was like one of the super villain takeovers, it looks like. Type of commercials. Like,
hey. So it was a lot of merch, a lot of shit off of that commercial though. Like they put up the numbers or something. Who knows what the numbers are real.
Everything on there is $20.
Yeah, and then he made everything $20. I was looking to go on there and try to cop me something. $20 for yay
everything
shit.
$20
for yay shit.
All they got, it's not much on there. You get it's like a few shirts, some I don't know what they're called. It's like
slides.
Some bodysuits and no, ain't no slides, but they got
the socks,
the pods now, or the
pods.
The easy pods, the socks with soles on them,
right?
Essentially,
yeah, I'm good on the socks.
They $20 though, if you want to try them.
They can make them $5. He hasn't sold a piece of clothing that I'd want to buy since the Red October. So
I haven't been a fan.
I'm good
of Kanye gear, but
it's still pop. I mean, you might not want to buy it, but it's a very popular thing. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's sold out instantly, from what I hear.
Yeah,
really? $19 million or something.
See,
shit. He had posted something.
I don't know about those pod things. Like, I mean, it's interesting concept.
Back to the halftime show, though, my motherfuckers was making a big deal about that Alicia Keys. guest appearance when they performed My Boo. Usher got a little handsy at the end. They was trying to make a big
part
deal.
of Usher's brand now. It's just a marketing thing.
He implemented all that he had been doing in Vegas for the last 2 years. He implemented that in the show. He was skating.
Normalize it for this.
He had a part where he was skating. He had a joint where he was with Alicia Keys booed up, singing My Boo. It's a performance. It's like people blew that shit out of proportion. Like, if I was Swizz, I'd be out right now. It's like, dog, Swizz been married to her for like 10 years now, dog, with mad kids. I don't think he's worried about Usher. And Usher's married.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't think it's that big of a thing. It's they're doing their performance, and that's accepted within the performance community, if you will. But he's got that reputation too much where he tries to push that shit. If I was Swizz, I would be fucking pissed. Fuck that.
I don't know if I'd be pissed though.
I'm not having it. No, you made too much of a thing and trying to steal other people's girls. No, we're not playing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
it. It was like a running joke, though. Like, again, we've seen the shit that he was doing in Vegas. Everybody made a big deal out of that. Like, it'd be one thing if we found out that he was really fucking them. Like, if you found out he was really getting at them after the shows and he, like, came through with at the other end of it. But it was like, it's just a performance, man.
Yeah.
Just putting on the show. But I thought it was dope, though. Shout out to Usher. Did his thing.
There's been plenty of times where I thought Alicia Keys looked good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of times where I'm like, she was looking bad, son.
She was.
Goodness gracious.
I was about to say, the Super Bowl night was not one of them nights.
No, that was a clear wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. She always been one of them.
She's becoming all natural.
Pretty lady.
You gotta respect.
Yeah. I do. Full fact.
Anything else from the game, honestly? I can't think of anything else. The game was cool, but the second half of it made it a fun finish, and you get the whole extra quarter. It was a great time. I had a blast doing the whole Super Bowl party thing. I got no complaints.
Not at all.
Good night overall.
I mean, we can, address the elephant in the room.
If you want to try to defend yourself, feel free.
I will, but, I see a lot of people throwing GOAT around. People love to throw GOAT around, like, just so willy-nilly. Crowning my man Mahomes with the GOAT status already. I think it's like mad disrespectful. People need to back down. I know you've been on Mahomes the greatest of all.
I've been on it since the first ring.
Sure,
since the first.
But the thing is,
his first MVP season.
Is every time it's said, it's dead wrong. It's not wrong.
I listened to somebody this morning. I can't remember who it was. No, I do. It was Bomani Jones. I was watching a clip that he had put out. And he was just talking about the peak of any athlete, and was kind of like making his argument towards the GOAT, referring to like I'm looking for another word. Peak is what I keep coming back to, but like
your prime?
The prime. Yeah, the prime of your career, the peak or whatever of your career. He's saying like longevity is a whole other discussion that obviously is a part of like, I almost feel like there's two discussions. Because if you're looking at it from a longevity perspective, of course, it's far too early to say that Mahomes is as good as Brady from a long-term perspective. But if you're just looking at like what is the greatest 6-year run you've ever seen in the NFL, I would say Mahomes has that. I would say he has that easily, to be honest. So I think you can make that. I think you can make that conversation. This is the greatest performance of an NFL athlete we've ever seen. Is this six-year run?
This is my argument for it, because yes, that is certainly true. But it's also along with that the biggest gap we've ever seen in NFL history between the number one quarterback and the number two, or the rest of the top five we've ever seen in NFL history. When Tom Brady was at his peak, it was some guys that you would say, they could be better or may be better even in that system than Tom Brady. You wouldn't say that about, you couldn't replace Mahomes 1-for-1 with anybody and think that they could duplicate what Mahomes could possibly do. Like, the gap between 1 and 2 is greater than it's ever been in NFL history, and that's the argument for Mahomes being the greatest quarterback of all time.
I mean, my argument to that is who has ever been put ahead of Brady? while he's been playing.
Not ahead, but if there's a gap between who would be second during Brady's career, Manning,
Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning.
But he owned Manning for majority of his career,
right? Which is why he's one and Manning is two,
right?
But I think that makes a really good sense that the difference between Manning and Brady, I think, is a much closer gap than Mahomes and
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson, any of these guys, you'd be like, all right, we're talking quarterbacks. Everybody already knows Mahomes is in a different stratosphere. Like,
but my thing, I feel like that gap was the same with Brady, though.
No,
because it was still like every season he was looked at as going to the Super Bowl every year. Like he was always in that conversation every year, no matter what happened. Mm-hmm. And even if you want to say Manning was close to Brady, Brady always had 3 to 4 Super Bowls over him every time you mention.
Well, I'm not talking about
looking at Super Bowls.
Yeah, like right, I'm not talking about that.
It felt like I don't have
MVPs too.
I don't have the numbers, but it felt like MVPs. Every year it was Manning and Brady were like statistically the two best quarterbacks, kind of battling it out. And then when it would get to the postseason, Manning would lose to Brady.
Right.
So clearly that's what made Brady number one, but it was like Manning was clearly ahead of everybody, every other quarterback except for him. Mm. And then when they got into the playoffs, AFC Championship or something, he can't beat Brady. So I agree too, but it's like that's a guy that's regularly getting very, very far every single time as well. I guess you could.
And a lot of people, what I'm saying is, it's a lot of people at that time that would have said, I'd rather have Peyton Manning than Tom Brady. Right or wrong.
A lot of people said they like Aaron. A lot of people say that because they was tired of seeing Brady.
But nobody,
because Brady won great. It was because they was tired of seeing Brady.
That's not the truth. It's because these guys were just as or more talented than Tom Brady. Nobody in their right mind would say they would rather have a quarterback in the league over Patrick Mahomes, regardless of who that guy is. That it's not an argument.
I feel like that argument is based in hate when people was like, Rodgers or Peyton Manning, they way more skilled and better. It's like, he's still better than them. I don't care what type of stats they have. He still beat them and he's still better than them.
So but you could say, but look, Lamar Jackson is way faster than fucking Patrick Mahomes, but you're not going to sit there and say that you would rather have Lamar Jackson. It don't matter when we're talking about skills over somebody because Mahomes got all the fucking skills. He got all the accolades. He got all the skills. He is like the perfect combination of a quarterback. You can't argue anything against this motherfucker. Agreed. He's clutch. He got the arm strength. He can throw it off platform. He got the leadership skills. He's an asshole to the other team. He's everything that you want in your fucking quarterback ever. So it's like, again, that's created this big ass gap between him and the next quarterback that might even be in it might even have created a big ass gap between him and the next generation's great quarterback just because this nigga has checked every fucking box that you can have as a quarterback. That's something Tom Brady has not done. Tom Brady is a guy who did the most with what he had. Mahomes got all the talent. That's the biggest difference.
All right. I bet that's always been a knock with Brady, or people being more talented than him. But if he didn't need to do that and would still had the success that he had, then what does that matter? What does that matter, really in the scheme of things?
Only when we're talking comparisons. That's the only time it matters. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter for Tom Brady's career. He formed a great career with that. But we're talking comparisons between him and other quarterbacks, especially when we're talking about another guy who could possibly or potentially be the greatest of all time when it's all said and done. These are the factors we have to win. I mean, it is something for us to solve the problem of, hey, look, you saw him take off running that read option play. Come on, man. You'd be like, come on, this dude can't be stopped. He can throw it on you. He can run it on you. He ran for the first down in that situation. A lot of pussy quarterbacks would have slid. That one first down that he ran for when he running through DBs and shit. There's a lot of pussies out there. There's a lot of pussy. I thought of Mitchell Trubisky's bitch ass when I saw the play. I'm like, his bitch ass would have slid. Mahomes going out there.
That's the first quarterback that you put in your head to compare.
He was drafted for Patrick Mahomes again, and it's another one of them things where I go back to and say, like, when you're watching this game, you're like, man, motherfuckers don't know shit. They watch all this fucking film and they go into off seasons and think they know what the fuck they talk. They don't know shit about evaluating quarterbacks. That's something that we still know. Like, again, two guys that were drafted before him. One guy's a known fucking like sex offender, and the other guy stinks and needs a job. So it's just one of those things where it doesn't matter how much film you watch. You might as well just pick any, mini, miny, mo with fucking quarterbacks.
I mean, I agree. He leaves some bounds for everybody, but it is like a new generation of quarterbacks. Nobody has anything. So it's like you're leaps and bounds between people that have nothing and because you've been winning, which is what you guys to get the credit for. But it's like, you understand who we comparing them to, who's playing. We're playing against other guys that haven't won anything as well.
Well, so but you can't. That can't be used as a negative because the only reason they haven't won,
he's choking them out, right? I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's.
And at the end of the day,
is the only way that Mahomes can be better than Brady if he does this for 20 years. Is that ultimately what we're saying? Because I just think that's a dumb statement.
At the end of the day, he never beat Brady.
No.
Brady got one up on him for life, son.
No, that's not. That's one up on life. That's not true. It is true. No, it lost him twice in the playoffs. He beat Brady before. I looked at this last night, and you're really gonna hate this, but fuck it, we're here now. I'm gonna go there.
Go.
In the AFC Championship game that he beat him, they both threw for like almost 300 yards. Brady had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and the defensive lineman, I believe it was
Ford.
Was
it D Ford? Or was it,
dumbasses lined up in the neutral zone for no reason. They picked off Brady to end that game and lose, but the penalty gave him an extra opportunity. It is what it is. You can't take that away from Brady. Not trying to at all. I'm getting this out. I don't care. The 2 times that happened. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Should have been 3 at a loss. Mahomes had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Sure.
He outplayed him in that game, and a penalty saved Brady's ass.
Sure.
In the Super Bowl,
something always saved Brady.
They got dominated.
Brady always got to be the one getting saved.
Go ahead. I'm finished when you're done.
Go ahead.
And the Super Bowl, when they lost, the Chiefs were starting their 4th string center, their 4th string left tackle, and their 3rd string right tackle or right guard. I can't remember. So they absolutely dogged them out. And again, you can't use either of these situations as a knock against Brady. I'm not taking away from Brady winning those games. But when you want to say, hey, it couldn't be Brady. There's context to both of the games. He outplayed Brady.
Context. He outplayed context with Mahomes. Oh, you can't do that. You can't bring up the players he had, the situations he had. I am.
Nah, you try to
bring up his first 3 years. See that Kelsey and try to touch me here.
All right. This was
that's context. Brady never had nothing great like that until he had Randy Moss and Gronk on the same team. Like,
not Gronk. You can make that case. I'm not going to refute it. I'm not going to refute it. It is what it is. That's context.
It's context for everything.
Sure, it's context. It's context. But he did. He did beat Brady though. You say he never beat him. I had to correct that, and I had done some research. So I shared the additional research.
Beat him in the Super Bowl, though. So
he did.
It's the one that matters the most.
Carl playing defense or center. Carl and his cousins were playing offensive linemen.
Hey, Burrow made it to the Super Bowl with the worst line you ever seen in your life. So
yeah, the same results happen. You can't play in the Super Bowl with your first
and I tell you, Patrick Mahomes had those weapons that Burrow had. He will win that. He'll win that.
How do you use that if you've been able to fight through it the whole season and then it bites you as the Super Bowl?
But no. Burrow's situation was different. He had a terrible line the entire way. Mahomes' line got injured in the playoffs.
Right.
This was a bad time in situation. He lost. He doesn't never get that Super Bowl back. He had to take the L.
True.
But if we're going to have the same conversation in 5 or 6 years, and if Mahomes is sitting at 12 years in the league and he has 4 or 5 Super Bowls with almost the equivalent in total stats that Brady had for the 20 years, if that's what happens, then I think the discussion will have to be just done at that point.
I don't think so. That's just like the Jordan LeBron thing. LeBron went 5 and he wins all the statistical categories he's leading in. People still ain't putting him above Jordan.
No, that's very, very different. Very different situation.
That's what you just said. If he gets 5 rings and he gets all the stats, then he's going to be putting
We all know that the argument with LeBron and Jordan is a 6-0 versus 2-35 in the finals, whatever LeBron is.
So
they're going.
Tom Brady not undefeated.
Yeah, Brady not undefeated. Fall back on that, and he's gonna. It is what it is. We're not gonna have the discussion now. It's got to be 6 more years.
It's harder to go to 10 Super Bowls than it is to go to 10 finals. I would say.
Agreed.
So
sure,
it still is a larger feat to me.
All right, it is what it is. We're not going to change anything here, and I don't think anybody says Brady's the GOAT. I'm not going to kill you.
I don't think anybody says it.
No, I said anybody that says that, I'm not going to kill you.
I don't think anybody says Brady should go.
I'm fully aware that you guys love Brady. Sure, but I'm just saying.
Well, he'll be calling the Super Bowl next year, apparently.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Kick out the GOAT
That's
announcer.
great, though. I like that, though.
Oh, no. Romo got to go.
No, Romo's terrible. Greg Olson's the best announcer that the NFL has right now. But they fucked up and they gave Brady $600 million or whatever they gave him, and now they got to use him.
I think it's going to be phenomenal, though. The way he breaks this shit down, I think it's going to be phenomenal. And that's also going to be a thing that's going to help continue people being in everybody's face. I think that helps a lot of people, retired players, that legacies get forgotten about because you don't see them or hear from them no more. Like when you see like Shaq talking every week, every 2-3 times a week, he's in your face, so he's reminded like this is one of the best big men that ever played the game, and you can't like forget about that because you still see him. It's gonna be the same way with Brady when you keep seeing him announcing these games, showing his.
He'll be calling Mahomes in the Super Bowl next year.
I agree with
you. He's getting better against
I think that does help him out in that regard.
I really thought they were going to lose this year.
But Greg Olson is a better announcer, I don't think.
Thought the Chiefs was going to lose?
I didn't think they would make it this far, man.
That's crazy.
I didn't think they would make it this far.
Yeah, for the majority of the season, that certainly wasn't the narrative. And they were going to be the best, but did it again.
Wow, yeah. Wow.
True indeed. Where we at?
Anything else? Super Bowl?
I think that's it for the Super Bowl, man. Ain't too much left there.
Seemed like it was minimum Taylor Swift coverage.
Yeah, that was pretty.
It won a lot.
Pretty average.
Random Ice Spice appearance.
I'm glad it won't, but
so many big names up in that box.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stars. Beyonce dropped 2 singles after she had a commercial during the Super Bowl. I thought that was pretty interesting. Different type of rollout. Different type of money
album, right?
That was 2 singles.
I believe
she did announce the album coming out in March, but she dropped 2 singles right after the commercial drop.
I've never seen that before.
Yes, nobody's done that. Nobody has done a rollout during the Super Bowl commercial and dropped songs. I thought it was kind of fire. And it was 2 country songs. She dropped 2 country songs. The next part of her, I think it's called the Act 2. Act 1 was the dance album. Act 2 is going to be country. I think the third one is going to be R&B. But she getting a little hate. I mean, we brought up a while back talking about country stations and stuff like that. They're not playing her song because she's Beyonce. They saying she's not a country singer, even though she made country songs, literally.
Yeah, they're not going to play that.
I thought it was kind of wild. That's hate. That's big hate.
It's the way they do things.
And I think that's why she's probably doing this, like doing different genres of music with these different album drops. So it's like, you have to put me here because I made this genre of music. So I think that's what she's trying to push.
Well, that's not how it works when you're a black artist. It's whatever.
And that's fucked up.
You either gonna make R&B, nigga, or you make hip hop. And if you are R&B,
that needs to be corrected.
Hip hop is just hip hop.
That needs to be corrected because there's a lot of label genre rap artists that be singing. Like literally be making R&B songs.
Wrong way.
Like he's an R&B singer. He's not a rapper.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, would fall in the hip hop
they should get put into their correct genres for the music that they make, not because of their how they look. He may look like a rapper, but he's singing R&B songs.
I haven't heard the song. Maybe it's not good enough to play on the radio.
Pretty decent. Called Texas Hold'em.
I don't know. But I would assume it's Beyonce is probably, a great song.
It's good. It's pretty good.
It's been like 6 hours since these songs came out. The fact they're not on modern pop country radio, I don't think is indicative.
We ain't talking about a new artist. This is Beyonce.
I understand, but as a country radio station, you're probably going to wait and see what catches on before you're throwing it into your top 40 country song rotation.
But they
I disagree with that.
Put posts and addressed it directly. Oklahoma country radio station KYKC responds to fans' request to play Beyonce's new song, Texas Hold'em. We do not play Beyonce on KYKC as we are a country music station. That's direct hate.
I hear you, bro. And that one small town country station may be hating.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, I'm not ready to roll this out as a large scale problem yet.
I think it is. I'm glad that she's doing it because if anything's going to change, it's going to have to be a star caliber that's going to make the change. It can't be a new artist like Lil Nas X tried to do, even though that was a really big record.
Yeah, well done.
Do they play Post Malone on country radio?
I don't know. I don't listen to country radio.
They do. I don't know that. I'm speaking out of turn on that. Yeah. I would be surprised if they do.
That'd be interesting.
They don't play Jelly Roll on some of his super country songs. Have made it over to country radio. I don't listen to country radio either. Yeah. I don't think there's enough information to be cool.
It would be interesting if they did play Post Malone songs if he made country type of records.
He's made some crossovers now that are certainly getting into country. And country is very much evolved into, what's the word I want to use?
Modern?
Hybrids. Hybrids is what I was looking for. Like hybrids of country stuff combined with other music.
I think they don't like the 808s. Yeah, once you put the 808s in on your country song,
the country dates love chick.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
Jessa, what's her name? Jessa Wild or
Murphy? Jess Murphy.
She got a song called Wild Ones.
Yeah, it's with Jelly Roll. I've been listening to country this week. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Very minimal. I've been on one country artist that I really, really like. I tried to listen to other ones, and I'm like, nah, this is too country. He does more like, I don't even know what you would call it. It's more like a folk rock kind of thing, but. Then dabbling in a little country. Don't tell them what they do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. I'm sure the Beehive will get to work on that, and we'll probably hear some music on country radios from Beyonce soon.
Yeah, let her be in the genre, man. She's making the music. It is what it is. But what's next? We get to regular season awards a little bit.
Yeah. Let's get into that.
Regular season,
y'all take it over. I didn't know fuzz. I don't even know who won half of them.
I don't know all of them. I know, of course, Lamar won MVP.
Coach of the year. I didn't know.
Coach of the year. I thought that was interesting. Coach of the year. Stefanski ended up winning, but he literally beat DeMarco Ryans, the Texans coach, by 1 vote to get the award. D'Amico. Yeah, excuse me, D'Amico.
DeMarco.
Same thing.
God damn.
It's close.
Yeah. I thought
I was talking about.
I think though that was I don't get how Stefanski's a really good coach, but is he a 2-time like coach of the year type guy? I don't think so. I don't get why he gets it again if the Browns were expected to be good this year.
Well,
they were expected to be.
If I'm making the case for Stefanski, it's. If you told anybody that they would be without Chubb and Watson as early in the season as they were, and they were going to finish it out with whoever the hell played running back, and Flacco,
of all people,
I think most people would say that team is a 5-win team or something. That would be the case. I don't care who.
I'm not saying he didn't do a good job, but we knew it was enough good players on there. Everybody's talked about the Browns roster for years. People have talked about how good the Browns roster is for 5 years, for year after year after year. Oh, this Browns roster, I love it. The offensive line is great. They got Chubb in the backfield. Their run game is good. The roster has always been talked about year after year. Coach of the year should be a guy who it's really unexpected. The guy working with who kind of does, the most with the least. And not to say that
Flacco's the least.
Yeah, I'm not to say D'Amico did the least, but the least expectation was certainly. You thought a 5-7 win season for the Texans would be good. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers won a division this year, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a stance on both sides. Like the context you say with them losing their main guys is like, for sure, you still gonna make the playoffs with that team. It's kind of crazy that they did that. And at the same time, with D'Amico, with the rookie quarterback, rookie receivers, like,
and I know it's a regular season award, but they fucked them up in the playoffs, man. They beat the brakes off of these boys in the playoffs.
They did.
He outcoached the fuck out of Stefanski.
That can't count in the coach of the year, but they did.
It don't count, but I'm just saying, like, the proof is in the pudding as far as who really was, like ball don't lie type shit. They fucked them up. It was a coaching.
But he only lost by 1 vote, so it's not like it was that crazy of a loss. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So they was neck and neck, so it makes sense.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Like this dude he's a really good coach. 2-time coach of the year. I don't know about that.
Shouldn't be held against you.
Skin in the teeth
before, but I hear you.
It is for a lot of people, though.
Usually,
Tomlin's never won the award, though. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like Bill Belichick never won the award. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The real great has Bill Belichick ever won?
They never won a coach of the year?
I don't know. I might have just made that
up. He just put that on your coach.
I don't think it's correct. I don't think that'd be crazy if he never won it.
Have we ever seen him take an award? I've never seen anything. I've never heard of it. Usually goes to the guy who has the. We always expected him to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know how many times Andy Reid has won it. Maybe he's won it a couple times, but it's normally a coach that we don't know about. But I know for a fact Tomlin never sniffed a Coach of the Year award, and he's a top 4 coach on most people's list.
You want to fire him every week.
Well, that's it on most people's list. I said mine. But just the reality of it, though.
I wouldn't have been mad if D'Amico won it. I don't think you gave good reasons why Stefanski
Bill's won it 3 times, by the way.
No, he threw your boy out there. Check the Tomlin stat, too. We got to check this guy.
307 in 2010.
Check Tomlin for me.
A long time. I'll give him a long time.
Have your defensive player of the year moment. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do this, bro.
I mean, we already knew that Myles Garrett was going to win defensive player of the year.
Thomas never got it. He never got it.
Yeah, well, we already knew that Myles Garrett was going to win it. The NFL wants this to happen. They've been working on this agenda all year long and cooking it up, making sure they get this guy the most viral moments or whatever. Putting it on their header.
How many Myles Garrett? How many had TJ won?
Just one. TJ's been snubbed for legitimate 2 defensive players. He had to tie the sack record in order to win it. You know what I'm saying? He had to make it undeniable to say, like, look, like, come on, I'm clearly the best defender in the game. This year he fell, a few sacks. If he would got to 20 sacks, he probably would have won it. But it's like, yo, you moving the bar way higher for him than you are for other defenders. That's my only issue with it is I don't think TJ Watt could have done anything more than what he did. And what are you asking him to do to win the award? That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't understand that part. He was so much better in every statistical category, like the actual tangible shit that really matters and impacts games. He was so much better than everybody else. Then it's like, I mean, what justifies somebody else winning it over him? I can't understand that.
I don't have a case. I just don't care. But the stats I saw, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
But then when you got a fucking loser like, I'm calling him a loser now because it's war against this punk bitch, Micah Parsons, talking about some, TJ Watt's not a top 5 pure pass rusher. What are you talking about, dog?
That sounds like hate.
And then it sounds like hate. But the stupid shit is the motherfucker says, check the stats. Check the stats. That's the last thing. He's talking about one specific stat of pass rush win rate that means nothing. We're talking about actual tangible stats to say that this motherfucker is the NFL sack leader since he's walked into the league. Nobody has more sacks than TJ Watt. So it's a known fact that your quarterback's going to get sacked on Sunday if he's going against TJ Watt.
Some of the ones he lost were to Aaron Donald, though, right?
Yeah. He lost one to Aaron Donald and this one to Myles Garrett.
On the stats, I don't see how.
But the one he lost to Aaron Donald, too, again, he was just better in every. TJ forced like 8 forced fumbles that year. Or some shit. Like, over 16 sacks, 8 forced fumbles, just a complete game record. I think he had an interception or two picks or some shit like that. The dude is all over the field and make plays. He's not just in one category of, he's a great run defender or he's just a great pass defender. He does it all and at a high elite level. But it's just one of them things where I get it. You can't give it to the same dude every year. And they're going to have to do something to boost. It's one of them charity things for Myles Garrett. Not saying Myles Garrett is a bad player or a weak player or anything like that, but he needs it for his resume. He can't go and you can't say that this is a Hall of Fame defender if he never, was the best defender of, or at least not awarded to be the best defender of his time at least one point. So it's one of those things to boost up his resume. TJ will be in the conversation again next year.
Well, so. Awards just don't fall from the sky,
No, not at all. Really.
To end off the regular season awards, CJ Stroud and what's my man's name on the defense? For the Texans, Will Anderson. They both took the offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. So that was pretty dope.
Maybe that's what bucked up Brian's.
It might have been.
Oh, like yeah,
they let them just sweep all the ones.
I didn't know. I feel like throughout the majority of the season, Jalen Carter was talked about as like the clear winner.
Yeah.
So that was what I had in my mind. That was one that I was a little bit surprised to find out about, but I don't have any opinion. I didn't pay any attention to him this year. Anderson.
Me.
Everything Texans related was he.
I think he was a good player this year. He won't defensive rookie worthy, but I don't think it's.
Go with?
I mean, I'm biased. I would have picked Joey Porter Jr. I think.
Come on, man. That's crazy bias, but yeah, I got you.
Why is that? He had the highest shadow rate of any corner in the league this year. Meaning he's a rookie that shadowed the top player he had the highest shadow rate out of anybody, and he allowed the least amount of
You're not going to win that with that, though.
It's a PFF stat.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
I never said that they weren't good for nothing.
Interesting.
You can look at anything I pulled up. I'll tell you what they're good for. But I mean that's a fact. And then he also allowed the least amount of receptions for somebody who played as many snaps as he did. He only allowed 24 receptions on the season total. So he was, I mean, a really fantastic player as a rookie this year. I think he stood out more, and he was more valuable to the Steelers' defense than a Will Anderson or a Jalen Carter was to what they did on their defense. But I'm not going to say that he didn't deserve it, though, for sure. And then you just pulling hairs at that point.
True indeed. Yes, true indeed. All right, where are we on next one? Got them awards out the way.
I'll be honest with you. NBA trade deadline is what I had next on my list.
Yeah.
In this moment right now, I don't really care about it. Do you?
Oh. I mean,
talk about it.
I'm not saying we shouldn't.
The more I thought about it, I was like, yeah.
I mean, we were one of the big names that got traded. It was a bunch of like role playing guys, but probably the one that stood out to me was the Pat Bev trade. Pat Bev getting traded from the Sixers to the Bucks for Cameron Payne and a draft pick. Yeah, basically.
What's going on with the Bucks here? Like, are they? Do we see them actually contending?
Well, they picking at Pat Bev because their defense is awful.
Yeah, I think this move.
Yeah, big move. They went from being a top 4 defense last year to like 23rd or something this season. It's a great fall off for a team that's been known for being a great defensive team, and you can only contribute that to losing Drew Holiday. But that's the only piece that they lost. And he was then considered one of the best defensive guards in the league. So they're hurting without him. So they grabbed the Pat Bev to try to fill that void. And we'll see how it works out. I don't think Pat Bev is nowhere close as good as Drew Holiday, but just his experience and his leadership and being on defense.
I don't think you need to be with the amount that they can score, right? You just need somebody who's probably just a nuisance. Yeah, and get maybe still one or two possessions for you. Right.
But I think he also helps bring the mentality.
Yeah.
It's a veteran mentality, the leadership shit. You know, they had him the very first game. There's all over Twitter is that clip of him slamming on the the clipboard, like showing Brook Lopez where to move on in defensive rotation and stuff.
Doc Rivers took that shit back from him all quick.
It was been there for like 12 hours, and it just instantly is like a team leader. I think that's just his makeup. So I thought that was a really good move by them.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, 35 and 19. The defensive number drop is scary, but
that's the biggest
issue. Not like they've been bad, you know?
Yeah. They're still on game. And shout out to Doc Rivers too, by the way. Cause I seen they with them firing what's that old coach called? I can't remember his fucking name.
He was there for 30 games or something. I didn't learn his name yet.
But had, great record. They were second in the East. Got fired, of course. Doc Rivers comes in and they made him the coach of the All-Star game. And Doc Rivers was like, yo, I'm not. Why y'all giving this to me? I've coached 3 games. Like, I shouldn't get this. I think he said he's going to give the old coach the money for it, and I think he get like a ring or something for being a coach of the All-Star game or something. He's giving him the ring or something like that too. I was like, that's an honorable thing to do because you didn't do nothing to deserve it. You just own a team that has this good record right now.
Why did he get it? I thought it went to like the 1 seeds in both conferences. I thought it was just their head coach, whoever was in first.
I don't know what the guidelines or what the stipulation is to get it, but they give it to the Bucks coach.
Yeah, I saw that too. I didn't read it.
But shout out to Doc for just doing the right thing. Like he didn't coach that team to get that spot.
Oh, this is some Austin Rivers.
What about?
Did you see any of the stuff with him and Steven Jackson?
Talking about Bronny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Austin. I don't know why I thought Austin Reeves when you said this shit. I was like, what the fuck happened to Austin Reeves?
I did see that. I did see that. Austin Reeves was relatively... I meant to bring that last week. I had it in my study. Yeah, relatively recently. He was on like ESPN, the pregame show before one of the games or something. And he honestly, I felt like was being like really nice in that he was saying, I think, putting this much pressure on Bronny to come and be on the same team as LeBron and like have to live under that shadow is going to be very difficult. Like I felt like he was very encouraging about this isn't a great decision because of how much pressure it puts on Bronny.
I agree with him for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think he was disrespectful at all, but Steven Jackson did not like that. Had some comments about like, shut up, you're nothing like, because he was comparing it to himself. Yeah. Comparing it to when he played under Doc. And it was just like, everybody around the league is like, you only have your position because you're on your dad's
he got
team
a lot of hate.
Thing. So it made a lot of sense, but Steven Jackson was not.
People forget Austin Reeves was like a #1 player in the country coming out of
He was a dog.
He was king coming into the league.
He averaged like 30-something points a game.
Yeah, he was a baller before he got into the league.
He was a really good player. He wasn't a slouch. Like I said, he was the #1 player in the country. #1 ranked player. So
nasty at Duke.
Yeah, I don't get what his argument was. I think he just wanted to. It's one of the things. I think he's just throwing shit out there to build some buzz to their podcast and stuff like that for traction. He went at Shannon Sharp here recently as well too.
Steven Jackson did.
Yeah. After that Cat Williams shit, right?
Didn't see it. I should say.
It comes off like I've been seeing Stack 5 doing that a lot, just commenting on stuff and. It comes off like a little hate a little bit. It's kind of weird. I'm like, I don't think he's ever coming from a hateful place, but just seeing you always commenting on other people's podcasts or other people's shows going on and like in a hateful way, like you hating on it, it's kind of like, all right, why are you doing that?
Do you know about anything with him having beef with Austin Rivers? Because I feel like I had heard them tell a story back in the day about like having to put him in his place, like while they played together or something.
I think I remember.
I might be making that up completely. I won't put anything on that, but
I think this comes from another place, so I probably do have some
seems like a little bad blood.
Something in the past.
Because there's no way to take what he said as like really being like disrespectful at all. He was like out of his way to be nice.
There's nothing. Is this your nephew, motherfucker? Like, who is this to you?
Maybe he's trying to land.
Is LeBron talking?
He's trying to land LeBron on the pod.
Like, who are you? Do you know this motherfucker? Well, obviously, you would know pictures of you at USC games with a LeBron t-shirt on and all of that shit. Like, what's the big deal? What are we talking about? This is something that has nothing to do with you.
Because Austin didn't sound like he was coming from a malicious place. He thought he was really being thoughtful of the situation. And I kind of agree with him. It is kind of a big light to shed. Like, you coming in the league and talking about playing with your dad. It's like, and we never really hear from Bronny's side. We always hear LeBron talking about, like, I love to play with my son, I love to play with my son. You never hear Bronny say, I love playing with my dad. You never heard him say anything, really. Right. So it's like, right now, really play with his dad.
I mean, most people don't want to go to work with their dad.
Nah, you can see why LeBron would want it, because it's like, it's so dope to be able to say,
it's a legacy
I played on a team with my son. But everything he said makes so much true. Like, it makes so much sense. Like, you're going to have so much pressure. People are going to be like, yo, you're on the team because LeBron wanted you on the team. Yeah. Like, it just puts them in an awkward position.
And not even that. They're just going to have that spectacle on you out the gate as soon as you come in the league, with you playing on the LeBron team, even if he's your dad. Like, he gets all the hate every other day, and the Lakers ain't been playing good. So think of you alongside him, too. It's like, he got his son, and they're not good together. It's going to be more hate that's going to get put on them from doing that. But, who knows what happens?
Tell you, look, Bron,
I think we might draft him for real.
There's a lot of money to be made overseas with that name. There's a lot of money to be made.
He's still early in his career. Like, he's had some breakout games, but he doesn't play a lot. He plays like 20 minutes or less in a lot of the games that I've seen box scores for with USC. I don't think there's any reason to rush. I also heard Melo talking on his podcast about telling his son, like, we're not thinking nothing about one and done right now. Yeah. Like, you go out there and we're going to be there for as long as you need to be there. Like, don't rush it.
Well, they could be in a position where they can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not hurting for any money.
They're trying to get no money.
A normal one and done prospect would be is like, shit, I gotta make it to the league. We gotta get this money now. Yeah. I can't risk getting hurt.
And they're making money while in college now. So it's like,
he's gonna
already get checks.
But I mean, these kids got so much to fall back on where Bronny could stay there for 3 years. And I would probably advise him not coming out until like after his junior.
Yeah, if it goes off next year, then we would think about it, whatever. But like, there's no rush. Like you said, there's no pressure on it. Yeah. Just develop, enjoy college.
That would probably be a more hindering thing for him to try to rush to get drafted just to play with his dad.
Yeah, like dad got to retire. I got to
when he's not really that ready. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, take your time and pave out your own lane. So,
agreed.
It's a good conversation.
That was it that I have for the NBA. I don't think the Knicks trade is interesting, but I don't think it moves the needle.
Nah.
You want to get into music stuff?
Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that.
Well, you take over here.
Finally got the album we've been waiting for the last couple months. Well, I don't know if y'all been waiting, but I've been waiting for it.
Both?
Kanye, Ty Dolla, Vultures, Part 1 has dropped.
Did I hear there's going to be 3 parts?
Yes. Supposed to be 3 parts to it. So I'm excited to hear more. But it's a pretty good album. I fuck with it.
Yeah. How many tracks is it?
It's relatively normal. 16.
Oh, it's even more than I thought.
16 tracks. A lot of controversy with the album, of course, is Kanye. He hasn't been clearing a lot of shit. A lot of those issues coming about that the Backstreet Boys sample didn't make the album, of course, because it never cleared the sample.
Forgot about that.
that didn't make the album.
Donna Summers was complaining about
Donna Summers, that was one.
Not cleared. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yep, Ozzy Osbourne was mad. A lot of them just not trying to clear it just because they ain't fucking with Kanye. So,
I mean, what's going on with that?
He's still running to that issue. Well, people not fucking with Kanye?
Yeah, like why shouldn't?
Well, Ozzy straight up said he's an anti-Semitic, so I'm not clearing my record for him to use on his album. He straight up said his reasons. So,
I think he's Jewish.
Yes, I'm sure that plays a part.
The guy who bit the bat, the head off the bat.
Yep, like 35 years ago. What the fuck does that got to do anything?
I don't want to say anything too crazy. He could be racially Jewish and not religiously Jewish. I don't think he's a religious person at all.
Yeah. Right. I mean, sure. If that's actually a thing.
Maybe. I don't really mess with Kanye. I'm back off of Kanye. Everything he does is back in his controversy mode. Just trying to be controversial for no reason. Just doing wild stuff, attention-seeking behavior.
What has he done for attention seeking?
Everything he does. What are you talking about?
He's still on this.
I'm saying right now, at this moment, what has he done?
I'm not.
At the listening party. I see he took a picture with the new Adidas CEO the other day. Thought that was pretty interesting.
I mean, he's been relatively quiet. I don't see anything that Kanye's done to run.
You also say that you're not active on social media, right?
No, not as much, but I mean, it's something viral that Kanye does would normally spin around on something. Eventually, I haven't seen anything.
It's mostly just been that of him not clearing records and doing songs and playing them at his listening parties when they're not clear yet. So that's been most of his issue recently. He hasn't really been speaking a lot, but I do see he has an interview come out with Justin LeBoy, which is weird, but that's his guy, apparently.
That's right.
So that part. But all in all, the album is fire. I mean, of course,
production sounded
top tier.
Really
that Back to Me record that I played early before we started, that shit go. I fuck with that a lot. And Freddie Gibbs went ham on that shit. He went nuts on that verse. But for the most part, it was some cool. I probably like half of it, to be honest with you. I don't like the whole thing.
What are all the features on there?
You got Future on there. You got Playboy Cardi. You got Freddie Gibbs, of course. I forgot who else is on there. Some other people I'm forgetting about. I think Travis might be on one of them. But the features aren't listed at all, so you just got to figure it out when you hear it. Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, that's what the Wikipedia look it up.
Which I ain't mad about.
But it was featured on every song.
All you know how we always talk about how Wayne always talking about pussy in every song?
Mm-hmm.
Kanye's a real horny guy, man. He talks about women a lot. a lot, like every record. Like it's almost egregious at this point. It's like, all right, dog, can you talk about anything else?
That's part of the thing that I was saying in the snippets that I heard. That's all I heard.
It's a lot of that.
And this is, every time he's out with the wife, I think the whole wearing a mask, doing all the odd shit that he does is one of some of the minor things that I consider just to be a constant attention-seeking behavior.
True.
And he's constantly walking around with her basically naked. And she's like staring down at the ground. To me, it seems like there's some sort of weird, like abusive type behavior there. I'm not saying like physically he's abusing her, but I think there's a very strange dynamic between that.
He's a milkman.
I mean, I respect that aspect.
He loves the milk jugs, bro. To me, milkman.
I think all of that's very strange. And then, one thing I will point out about Kanye, and I don't know if this is like, it's just weird because it's somebody who comes out and says a lot of the things that he says, and it's like anti this power structure and stuff like that, but at the same time, you'll see videos of this motherfucker shopping in Balenciaga still or something like that. So it's like, I don't know exactly what principles he stands on or what.
Nobody does.
That's a good way to say it. Is I was out on him for a while because I didn't really respect him as a person, and I don't really respect his values. He came back in my world as he started to turn into the religious page. And like, to me, to be honest with you, I think there was at least a year's worth of time, or maybe a little bit less than that, where he seemed to be very genuinely trying to pursue this religious path that he was on. And I believe he was true about that. I don't believe anything that Kanye does is like fake. Like, I think he's acting out of his real thoughts, emotions, whatever.
So you don't think it was just a phase?
I think it was a phase, but I'm saying I don't think during that time that he was like trying to pretend to be this. I think that's what he really thought was the right way to do whatever he was doing. So when he was going that direction, obviously that is stuff that his values at the time were aligning more with what my values are. So I was interested in some of the music he was putting out and kind of gave him an opportunity again.
Gotcha.
As it's turned the corner, like I don't want to judge him as a bad person, but like you're talking about, like it doesn't seem like he has a set of values. Last night, I quit following him on Instagram, but I saw like 2 nights ago or something, he was wearing a new mask. And it's all blacked out, and it has a Jesus in a white crucifix like across his face. And that was like while he was out with the wife wearing nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, do your thing. It is what it is. That's your lifestyle, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, as a Christian, I don't appreciate continuing to drag in the Christian imagery and stuff with going in the opposite direction. You want to go the opposite direction, do you?
Yeah.
But it reminds me of how I felt when he put out Yeezus. I didn't listen to that album because I didn't appreciate what he was doing with the religious aspect. And I don't have much interest in this album. I may end up coming back around to it at some point in time, but I didn't listen to it just because I'm like, I just don't really think there's anything of value there for me.
Yeah.
And when every snippet I hear is, I'm not anti-Semitic, I just fucked a Jewish bitch. It's like, oh, that's
he plays with that shit a lot.
Like, okay.
That's why when he was doing, the Christian thing and dropping, the gospel albums, so to speak, quote unquote, I just took it as a phase. Like, all right, he's just using another angle to get people to pay attention. And that's what he's always done his whole career, pretty much, to me. So at this point with me and Ye, I'm like, I don't even take nothing he do personal no more. I just want to hear the music. That's all I'm here for. Give me the music. Whatever other silly shit you do your thing, bro. But I'm not like looking at Kanye like as some moral compass or what he stands for and this, that. Like, I just remove all that shit because you never know what with Kanye, which angle he gonna take it or what angle he's going with. What's his mission at the end of the day? Nobody really knows because it keeps going back and forth. He says he wants to make clothes cheap and make them make clothes as cheap as possible for anybody can buy them, but every time he drops something, it's the most expensive shit you ever seen and it's the most plain shit you've ever seen put together. So it's just like, you never really know. I ain't never bought no Kanye merch, no clothes, shoes, nothing. I just listen to the music. I just leave it at that. Did the music fire? Was 9 times out of 10 it usually is.
Right.
The easy stuff, again, it's $20, so he still don't have
$20 now
for whatever that's worth.
For some socks.
It is now. I'm curious.
$20 sock shoes.
I'm curious the angle. There has to be something in play with like the back I don't know if what he sold. What I was gathering, it seemed like what he sold was like I don't know what you call it, but like the back catalog stuff that was with Adidas.
Yeah. Like he tried to clean house.
Seemed like he got it and was like, this is a good way.
Yeah, sure.
And he had posted the math. He made $19 million on it. So like, it doesn't matter to me what your motive was. If you made $20 stuff, you made $20 stuff.
Money. He said he paid $7 million just to have that commercial during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he flipped his brain.
He said like spent everything on the spot, so we didn't have anything left for the commercial.
Man, to spend $7 million for the commercial just to shoot it on your iPhone is nuts.
But it worked. It worked. Smart. Yeah, smart. Just because he already got the name, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Behind that, and I mean it worked. But I'm not even looking. I think once we start looking to celebrities for like morality and shit like that, you're in the wrong spot anyway. Like
that's true.
But I do still think, a lot of stuff that what Kanye does speak, I do think is value to some of the stuff that he talks about, even though it is in a different space. Like,
he need a translator.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what he needs.
It's certainly, at random and stuff, but I think, a lot of the stuff that he says is true. But, that's for everybody else to look into or whatever on their own time. So, yeah.
I just want to clarify. I don't look at him as a moral compass. I don't look at any rapper or entertainer to be somebody that would influence my thoughts on morality. I expect everybody, all of these entertainers to do and act pretty much in a way that would be completely counter to what my morals are.
Right.
But it's when you bring in a religious thing and start like presenting as if you're using Christianity towards your goal of all this other stuff. That's when I don't get into it. That was why I didn't like Jesus and not interested in the new album as he continues to portray like this image of this is what I am. But
any and everybody is fair game for Kanye. Any and everybody is fair game for Kanye.
Well, I mean, with the religious thing, I think pretty much that's doing what a lot of people do with religion is use it as a money scheme. Like
sure, but I don't support those people either.
Yeah, I mean, we say we don't, but we always do type thing because it's so many organizations that do that you don't even know. Like I don't know.
There's a difference between.
I'm still eating Chick-fil-A.
We're all human beings.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's so many
chicken sandwich.
Chick-fil-A to poison your ass, and it's like, but this is God's chicken. You know what I'm saying? But it's the type of shit.
I never look at it as God's chicken. It's just a good chicken.
No,
sandwich.
I'm just saying that's the idea behind the shit. But that's what I'm saying. It's like he's not the first person to do some shit like that. So, I'm just speaking from that side of the things. Like this is a normal practice when it comes to religion. People use it for those reasons all the time.
Okay. It's not normal to say I am God, which was something.
Depends on who you're speaking to.
It's not normal. It is what it is. Next. What else do we got?
Fabio. New Fabio foreign album, you know what I'm saying? Shit hard though.
Oh, I didn't know he dropped an album.
I know. But I didn't expect it,
I mean, he hasn't.
Pain and Love too.
He seems to have disappeared a little bit.
I mean, it's been low for a little bit, but he's been putting out some fire. Album is hard. Usual suspects on there, Lil TJ, Chef G, a few other guys on there. But it's pretty dope. It's a pretty concise album. I think it's on like 10 records. Real quick play. Only like 30 minutes long or something like that. Got some hard records on there. I'm fucking with Fabio. Doing this thing. Good album out there.
That's an album I will not be listening to.
I know. I mean, we ain't listening to none, so.
Yeah.
Just add it to the list of non-listens.
Fabio's
that is on the list of never listening to. Some will make the maybe. Or might soon,
Fabio's my favorite Joe rapper.
What?
That's as far as I'll go. It doesn't mean I particularly like him, but
when you hated him altogether.
I'd still
but he hate drill though. So
I love him, but he's got a couple.
Almost like saying
he's got a couple of songs I like.
I still hate him.
I mean, he took the crown when Pop Smoke passed away. He kind of took the crown, so it's all fitting. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Every now and then he puts out a song that I really, really like, but for the most part, not my guy.
Understood.
Nothing wrong with it though.
Nothing wrong at all.
Better than Ice Spice.
Say what?
Better than Ice Spice.
Speaking of Ice Spice, I did see something the other day. She got like 3 platinum songs now. people love her. Crazy. People love her.
There's nothing, because I mean, it's more about influence than music nowadays. And that's, I mean,
just personal. Well, I don't even know his personality because she don't even talk much, but they just like her.
They like her ass.
She's like a character.
That's what it's always like. It's like more about your influence than the music that you make. Like, music used to be the inspiration or the influence. Now everybody just wants to be an influencer. Yeah.
Back when it was
whatever
good.
That means, you know.
Back when the music was good, it was inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the music has more potential now to be good, but unfortunately, it's just so washed that we don't. It's not as many good artists, I guess. The ones that are good artists don't get enough.
Why do you think the music has more potential to be good now?
Just because the technology is better to make better music. So if you get the right artists with that, you can make better music. But the fact is that it's so saturated with all of these motherfuckers who are not really great artists, but they've turned to this light of, I'm gonna do music now.
Right.
So that's what it is.
Go ahead and give their response. I think I found a disconnect on this, but before you got here, Mos was talking about bringing out some of the, when we said last week, we were talking about bringing up some of the previous arguments we've had on the pod. Yeah. And you mentioned this one about old music versus new music. So make your case, and I think I can draw the bridge between where you're both coming from, because I agree with both sides.
The quality of the music made these days is very poor because of what you just said, the accessibility to make it. It's so accessible now that you don't have to put no time in. You can come lay a song down and write in 5 minutes, drop that shit on the internet with no consulting, no guards, nothing to make this perfect as it can be. So you can put out a lot of bullshit. That's why there's way more bullshit than there is great shit out there, because it's just too accessible. When as in back in the day, when shit took a little longer and you had a lot of more barriers to go through before you could even get into a studio period, you was putting out more quality shit because you weren't gonna go through all these stops to get to making some music and then go in there and lay some bullshit in 5 minutes. You was gonna take your time and make sure that shit was fire before it got released to go anywhere and anybody heard it. So that's been my argument of it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean,
can I try my description?
Go ahead.
All right. So I think what we're coming with is, when we had this discussion back before, I remember being more on Carl's side on this, and I think the point that we were making is the technology is so much improved that the technological quality of music is better now than what it used to be. And I think you kind of said that in what you were explaining. But I think what you're talking about from your side is the artistic quality is no longer what it used to be. Mm-hmm. So while we're in a time right now where if you had X artist and took them from any point in time, if you had the top artistic quality, they're able to put out the best work possible right now because they also have the technological advances. Mm-hmm. But because people aren't using their artistic integrity or their artistic quality anymore, and it has become more of a money-driven thing than art. Yeah, we're seeing worse music now than what we saw from the 70s.
And nothing really stands out.
Well, I mean, don't you think you're a bit of a hypocrite, though, when you talk about it from that perspective and saying, because, I mean, you prefer you say that when a guy finds his niche, they should just keep running with it. But that's like the lowest quality of artistry that you can really do, is to find one thing and just continuously make the same
arguments, thing. Though.
But it plays into today's music lacking.
I mean, since the beginning of the time, you had to find your niche. As an artist, you had to find your thing that people know you for.
But guys aren't even being creative anymore,
right?
And that hurts
the ones that stand out
as well.
The cream of the crop are the ones that have found that found their lane. So it works out better for them, especially now where it's so saturated. If you don't find your thing that makes you stick out, then you're going to be falling the wayside of doing what everybody else does already.
I think you're right in that. Obviously, you got to find like what you're best at. Like we could call that your niche or whatever. But I think like the issue that we're really getting towards is that everything is it's all driven by money.
Yeah.
Whereas before there was obviously these people
were just a feeling.
It was driven by art. Yeah. So there wasn't as much of a desire to like find my specific niche. I want to find what I'm good at. Yeah. But ultimately, like, art is usually trying out some stuff that you're uncomfortable with and kind of seeing like where it takes you or where it goes. Right. So I think there is a little bit to the fact that whether it's right or wrong, artists are looking for their niche that they can thrive in, but it's because they want to figure out how they can monetize their music to the highest possibility
instead of just making something.
Rather than making
it's heightened more in this era now because there's so many artists out there. So I agree with that.
I agree with that. I don't think, because of time and stuff, I think we should continue on with the other topics, but Russ came on to Flagrant last week. They did a 4-hour pod. I understand anybody not listening to a 4-hour pod. I thought it was one of the best pods I've ever listened to. I thought what he talked about with his inside perspective of the music, where things have kind of gone wrong, independent stuff, how the labels and the streaming stuff works. I thought a lot of it was very informative and interesting. And then on top of that, he's doing a lot of the same kind of growth journey type thing that I'm interested in right now too. So to me, it was one of the best interviews I've ever watched, but it's long as hell. But he does talk a lot about some of this type stuff where finances being such the driving force behind everything, that people are willing to do anything and everything to get attention, to keep attention, and the art has suffered drastically because of it. He also had a lot of interesting theories about how hip hop has, it's gotten to a point where people are saying a lot about hip hop's falling off right now and not having the #1 records and that kind of thing. And he had perspective about just feeling like, he gave a bunch of different reasons, but saying that a lot of this stuff has just been said, like it's been expressed. And hip hop originally kind of came from this counterculture thing where it was like not a disrespect's not the word I'm looking for, but like trying to fight rebellious type of thing. And now it's the mainstream. So like kind of the counterculture narrative from the mainstream hip hop now is the boom that we're seeing within country music becoming so big. And just kind of talking about his perspective on how country is taking off, because it is now technically kind of counterculture from what most of the popular music is today. But there's a lot of cool stuff within that interview, I thought, kind of talking about this kind of thing.
He made some good points. Made some lot of points on a lot of the arguments that we've had.
Yeah.
One in particular that I'll bring up that I could say I was kind of wrong on with, he was saying about artists should audit their label.
I had written that
and
down
I stood on like, you're not going to be able to audit your label. It's not going to be a possible thing. And he said you should put that in your contracts. And I agree with him. He was saying a lot of things that you said that should be happening. Right, but yet and still, he was able to do that because he had leverage. Yeah, if you don't have the leverage, you're not going into no label.
For sure.
Saying, let me put me in
but that's why you shouldn't be at those tables. I know everybody can't wait for those moments. Yeah. But you shouldn't be in those discussions until you have your leverage.
It's hard to say that if you're a struggling artist trying to make it. Right. That's what I'm talking about when I'm having these conversations. Is an artist that hasn't made it, that doesn't have the bread or the finance behind them to push to whatever they're doing, that has a record that has a little buzz for them, and then the label start to call, then you're put in the position where, do I sign with this label and end up giving up because I don't have much leverage in this position that I am with one song that has a buzz? Then a guy like Russ, who had a full catalog and then went to a label to try to do a partnership deal with, he has the leverage to say, I'm going to audit in my contract because I already have a backing and a following where I don't fully need you to, I'm not selling away my heart to you to have this label situation with you. So even his perspective on that situation, it sounds good from him, but he came into that situation with his leverage. The artists I'm speaking about don't have the leverage of Russ to say that. And put that in the contract.
You can say they don't, but I think they don't have the education. It's because it's less about the leverage. It's more about the education. Because if you know what you're supposed to know, you would say like, hey,
you can still know what you're supposed to know and not have leverage.
Yeah, but you would say you got the leverage just because the motherfucker's calling you in the first place, just because you're sitting or you have that opportunity at that point. They're only going to give you a percentage of what they think you're worth.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they're going to give you this amount, how much are you really worth? So how much can I really run this up by myself? And at that point,
then that's a decision you got to make.
Right. But if you was educated enough, you would bet on yourself.
But a lot of it ain't got to do with education. It's got to do with the place that the artist is at the time. If you look at your bank account and you got $25 in it and they offering you $100,000 to sign with them, then you're putting in the dilemma. We in the struggle right now, and the label's offering me $100,000.
But you've been in the struggle.
Yeah, true.
That's all I'm saying.
The goal of an artist is to finally make it and be seen and be.
But is that finally making it? That's not the point that you were supposed to do that shit at. Maybe you were supposed to grind for
It's
one
easy
more
to
year.
say if you're not in the position. Is all I'm saying.
I understand that, but again, it's not necessarily a desperation thing. It's more about education thing. Because if you knew what you're supposed to, if you know what you know, then you would have made the right decision type thing. Like
I believe part of what you're saying is true. But I also think that's not the case. We make decisions every day that are like, it's temptation. There's decisions that are like in a more immediate reward that we know in the back of our mind is not going to be a good thing. So you can have the knowledge and be like, yeah, I know I could work for another year and really run this price up way more, but I could take this and then I'll run this up. And like, I think you can have the knowledge and still consciously make the wrong decision just because you're short-sighted. Ultimately, though, I think both of y'all are right about the point. If you're in a bad spot, you're going to be more likely to take the bad deal. And if you put yourself in that position and you take the bad deal, it's just a consequence. I mean, it can be that's sad, unfortunate. You know, that sucks that you were in this bad spot and felt like you had to make this bad decision. But the consequence doesn't change, no matter how sad your situation is. Yeah. If you do this while you have no leverage, you're going to get a worse deal. And if you'll hold out and get some more leverage along with the knowledge of being able to make a smart decision, you're going to be in a much better place in the long run. But it's like an easy decision to make from the outside.
Well, Russ said specifically about that, and when people like artists signing these bad deals, and he was like, for who? Yeah. It's not a bad deal for the label. It's a great deal for the label because they're the one that's putting up the bread. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you ain't got no money and no backing to push whatever you're doing with your music, and you sign to a label and they put the money on you and blow you up, and then a lot of times we see artists get mad 3-4 years later after they've blown up and mad that they're in a situation there, but the label helped you get to where you are. So it's like, you got to take the good with the bad. Then once you get to that level and you try to work some situation out with yourself to work out of it, then you're able to do that because you have built up the leverage in your name in the situation. But coming into the door, most artists ain't got none of that leverage. They just trying to be seen. And so this is a decision you got to make, and most people will regret it. But a lot of artists, they're getting that situation and blow up, and then they come out on top on the good side of the situation if they do their business right after they've got their money and blown up. So it just all depends on whoever situation that you're in. But that was a good podcast, though. He was dropping some good info in there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff. You know, you hear a lot about. I don't want to go too much longer on this, but you hear a lot about the pumped up streaming numbers, stuff like that.
Yeah, some good.
I thought it was really just interesting the way he talked about it, and of course, he's always been somebody that says that that's going on like crazy. But he gave some context to it of like when it can happen, and it's not just like you pick some random Joe Schmo off the street and decide like we're going to run his numbers up. He was talking a lot about how it's somebody that has kind of a following or a ground force, a ground base, and they're moving forward in the right direction. And then you throw the pump on to boost the alley-oop way up. Yeah. They made the comparison of steroids in baseball. You take steroids all you want, but you still got to be a really good hitter. Yeah. And then when you're already a really good hitter, then we can boost you 30 home runs a year to 45. Right. But you're not taking somebody who's hitting 5 home runs and pushing them to 45. It was just interesting to hear like the actual specifics.
And that was leading to another argument that we've had many times where I said the numbers don't tell the whole story. And he was using examples of like you said, it'd be artists that already have a following and they just give them fake streams to up what their numbers already look like. Mm-hmm. And he said he was in a position himself where he had did like 900,000 streams or something. And they was like, I could just boost you up to getting you to that million. Give you a little fake streams, get it to me. He said he put himself in a position like, damn, like it really makes sense for me to do. He's like, but then he in the back of his head, he thought, if this comes out later down the line that I faked some streams at some point in my career after I've been talking, people are gonna kill me for it.
They don't think everything is fake.
Yeah, they think everything you ever done was fake because of this one time that you chose to use some fake streams. And it's just like, again, it's a decision of the person, depending on the person. It doesn't make sense to you or does it not? I think it makes sense for him to stand tall since he's always been against not faking what he's doing, having real numbers, selling hard tickets, and making his numbers be real for the most part. So, but yeah,
solid.
That part.
Yeah, it was cool stuff.
Good shit.
You had some other podcast beef or news? Couple of topics.
Podcast beef. Joe, Big Button.
Again?
Been beefing with the streamers a little bit. He's always in the mix of shit. But he's been beefing, going back and forth with the streamers a little bit, and it's kind of just like been another story of the older, more seasoned guy arguing with the new guys in the situation, and it stemmed from Killer Mike sweeping all the rap categories in the Grammys, and a lot of the streamers felt like Travis Scott or Drake should have won it for their albums. And he basically just stood on it. They kind of was killing him, They were taking like the usual jab. So, Joe, you only had one hit, and Joe, you da-da-da-da. But it's like, if that's the stab that you're going to take at what he's saying, then you're not really even hearing what he was saying in the situation. And they both always going to stay on opposite ends of it. But Joe's whole point of it was like, y'all just don't understand who Killer Mike is. So if y'all don't know who Killer Mike is, then y'all's hate towards him is invalid in this situation, because y'all don't even know who Killer Mike is. Like, you have to be a guy that's been around or knows music for the last 20 years to know how long of a stride Killer Mike has taken to get to this point, and that he's well deserving of what he got with that album that he put out. So it was just like them taking shots back and forth. He was just like, yo, y'all just don't know what y'all talking about.
I mean, I don't have a problem with either stance either way. I get what the streamers, how they would. I just think and
they was using the numbers, because of course Travis Scott's album did the craziest numbers,
because that's what they're going to use.
Yeah,
that's what.
Man, we're talking about Aiden Ross and Constant.
Right.
These are the artists that they like. They don't care about 40-year-old breaking down his life.
They're not listening to
looking back and thinking about the good stuff or this just doesn't matter.
Right.
I thought Joe kind of looked retarded. Not looked retarded. I thought it was stupid for Joe to even go back and forth. Aiden Ross is a moron. And as soon as he starts his addressing of Joe, and he's like, I got more money than you, bro. It's like, this is what
I can buy you.
This is all they saying. Like, they're young kids. They're going to say young stuff. It is what it is. I wouldn't even have gotten into that back and forth.
Yeah. There's just a lot of
course, they're not listening.
Not being aware of stuff and just taking shots just because he called y'all out. I mean, he wasn't even calling them out. He just addressed the situation and just shot whatever they were doing down. And they just took the...
Well, no, he took shots at Travis. I think that's how it started.
Yeah. When we saw about that Fiend song.
Yeah,
that shit was hilarious.
It was so funny.
Fiend. He said that's what they did on the stage.
So I like that song, but ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit.
The way he said it, it was like, yo, people out here dressed up in their formal and the nicest fits, and you think at the Grammys they want to see you on the stage jumping, Fiend. They're gonna look at you like you have fucking crazy up there jumping.
That song.
Oh, you have it. It's a hype song.
It's a Travis Scott record. It's a raging rap record.
Yeah, I hate
I do too. It's Travis and Cardi, so you can imagine how nuts it is.
Yeah, it's one of those raging songs. And really, like, for the setting, I watched the Grammys. For the setting, when he performed that, everybody was just thrown the fuck off. Like, you need to save that song for your fucking festivals. You need to save that for your festivals. You should have performed something that people would understand why you performing it here at the Grammys. So it didn't fit the setting, and it just looked weird, like at a setting with all those people, those celebrities to perform that song. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's what it is.
That stuff is really.
It was funny though.
Really funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be this, younger and older generation kind of separation when it comes to, especially. I mean, I don't know when the last time we've had like a Grammy winner with like that's like I guess that's such a huge gap between.
Yeah, he's like 45 or something.
Yeah, I mean, between like the
kids are 20 years old.
Yeah, they have no clue who this guy is. So, and I mean, honestly, he wasn't a big artist during our time either. So, or really at no point in his career. So I understand that. I mean, I don't know why he won necessarily either, but I don't care at that point. But I think it all kind of stems back to there's no real criteria for what, why are you even nominated for a Grammy? We don't know necessarily.
I mean, he had one of the best rap albums of the year. Like,
but it's all subjective. Like, there's a lot of people who can say they had a really good rap album this year, but it's just saying like,
I mean, yeah, but
what's the criteria to put a motherfucker into the category for the Grammys of having the best rap album of the year? What boxes do you need to check in order to be considered for that?
I mean,
nobody
get
knows.
votes from your peers as well.
Yeah, it's when you
nobody knows. That's the issue, though.
You say it's subjective, and I think that's true, and I think that's why you can't have a checkbox. Because in all honesty, if you're going by a checkbox, like the most readily available checkbox to use would just be numbers.
Yeah, right.
And that's how you end up with Macklemore winning it, which everybody didn't like.
Yeah. Like this voting, I did some research on how they do the voting process, and a lot of the votes are people that vote are people that have either been nominated or have won Grammys in the past. So there's a lot of people that
it's kind of
in the music industry, but at the same time, you're talking about a lot of people, and it's like literally like 70 some awards at the Grammys. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's going to be a lot of awards that people are voting. They have no idea who they voting for in the category, and some that they will know who they are.
Right.
So it's like it's a give and take. Like you're going to get people that may not ever listen to country music, but have to make a vote for who won the country Grammy this year. Like so, it's just like
that's interesting.
There's going to be hits and misses when you got these type of people voting that you never know if they know everybody in these categories.
How do you get nominated?
Imagine
you have to submit. You have to submit your work, and I'm not sure how you make the nomination. How that's determined. I just know that.
Yeah, I've seen the website. Like it's literally just like you upload your shit.
Yeah, you can just submit it, and then it gets.
A random person can just submit some shit. Like you won't get.
Anybody can submit some shit.
I was talking about Drake not submitting when he was like boycotting and stuff. So that's kind of interesting. I liked how Killer Mike has responded to everything. Like I think it was specifically towards the streamers and stuff. And he had made comments where just like, I understand, like, y'all might not know who I am. You might not be familiar with my journey, my music, but like, basically, I think he quote unquote was like, yo, but just fuck with me. Listen to it.
He invited him to his party and stuff in Atlanta. I think Kai is actually down in Atlanta, so he was telling him just to come to his party, his celebration for his Grammy.
He's still in New York.
No, they're A&P houses in Atlanta.
Gotcha. I know far too much about these streaming stuff.
Yeah,
I do.
He is from New York.
Yeah,
they just in Atlanta. But
Killer Mike's just the man. Just seems like a good dude all around.
Humble man. He's on top of the world. Why would he have any hate in his heart right now? Like he did everything he saw to do. I don't see him having any hate for anybody that don't know who he is or don't have any knowledge of his career or whatever.
I would again. If I was him, I would understand it.
Yeah,
like I'm perfectly fine with that.
Y'all shouldn't know who I am.
Right. Technically, yeah, right.
But
sounds fun. Now you do, at least. Maybe you'll check it out.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I mean, the song that he won got Future on it. Y'all know Future.
Oh, that's right.
That's the song that won the rap song of the year.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to mention the other one, Mike Epps? I'm actually not familiar with this.
Mike Epps
and Shay.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Oh, well, you haven't. He just said the kind of ongoing joke now about Shannon Sharp being gay.
Yeah, he made some jokes about his name. Come on, Shay.
It's like he said the nigga telling you right there, which I don't disagree with. I've said this a couple times on the pod.
That boy Shannon was hot though. Did you see his response?
That's what started this.
Yeah,
I mean, I went back to the Cat Williams stuff.
But yeah, it was
your head, mofo, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, mention my name again. Yeah, and I'm gonna put the DMs. And I don't like doing this. Yeah, but you're lying. See, I don't care about all that other stuff. You can say I'm gay, and you can say I don't care about that. Yeah, I won't chase a lie, but I won't mention my name. Yeah. Now you can say all that other stuff. I can deal with that. Look, I've heard that 1,000 times. Yes, just like everybody jumping in the chat talking about, you don't like number white women. Right. I done dated all the different races. Yeah. Hey, listen, you like Skittles, man. You eat every color. I don't eat yeah, I don't do all that. You know what I mean? That's why I couldn't look at them. Skittles. Okay. Stay off. I'm with you.
Sleeping as a backup. It's just, I think it ended with, Shannon posted something saying they gonna link up at the All-Star Weekend and ash it out as men. Instead of doing this on the internet, which is how they should. These guys is over in their 40s. Why is y'all beefing on the internet? I think I hated the most when cats that's like older than us on the internet beefing is wild to me.
But a lot of respect.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. All right. I mean, and he's not the only person to say this joke about Shannon Sharp before. So, I mean, maybe it's the first time Shannon's seen it, but I don't know. Well, for some reason, he decided to address it.
That headline thing said I think what he was upset about is saying something that he tried to get him on his show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was saying, "You call me gay or whatever, but don't try to say I lied. Like I did not ask you to come on my show," which is might be an even more stupid reason to be upset. To be honest with you.
And Mike S responded to that and admitted that he did DM him to get on the show.
Oh, really?
It wasn't saying that reached out. So it was like,
that happened pretty quick.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know about that.
Quick back and forth.
Very interesting, though. Shannon Sharp's podcast is definitely blowing up. He had the Monique interview. I haven't watched any of that.
She was a mix of that. Taking her shots
from that, but it seems like that's just kind of the I guess the strategy they're rolling with.
People come there to air shit out.
This messy place. A whole lot of black drama. Niggas talking about niggas. That's pretty much just it.
Like, I gotta be honest, it does not draw me in.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just like, it's nothing actually interesting. It's just
love drama though.
You just expose the niggas. That's it.
That's always gonna say.
That's all. It's like, and nobody's really getting to the root cause of anything or working out shit for an actual solution. Is just, I got something else to say about this motherfucker too.
Yeah.
So, whatever whatever it may be, but Shannon Sharp's blowing up right now for sure. I guess it was after that makeup thing they made him do at the time on ESPN. That was pretty interesting, but yeah. Move on from that.
What else we got?
My guest called him the new Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
I mean, it is kind of like that.
It is like that, though. It was kind of spot on. Like, you got the little messy podcast over there now. But, hey, do what you got to do. The numbers is going up.
Have you seen the trailer for that new Afion Crockett?
Oh, the hip-hop story? That should look fire.
It looks pretty funny. Yeah. I was kind of curious how all these rappers are going to take like him being super goofy making fun of him kind of thing.
I mean, but it looks hilarious. Like, man, it's satire. Like, he's a comedian.
I would think so, too. Rappers can be sensitive.
That's true.
Well, how is he making fun of him?
It's just like a comedy, but like he's playing all the characters. So he's doing like a caricature of Jay-Z talking to Kanye and like being wild Kanye. Jay-Z, he's doing
He's everybody. He's Eminem. Yeah. He put on the white face. He's like being all the rappers. He's telling like a hip-hop story.
It looks pretty fun.
The gist of the movie is like trying to bring back real hip-hop in this new generation.
Oh, and
he's playing all the rappers from back in the day.
That's funny.
Yeah. It looks pretty
I
fun.
thought it was like a CB4 type story.
It almost reminds me of that, but not like he's playing all real rappers.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot about this.
Concept. That should be fun.
I mean, the way I look at that shit, I was like, it's the truth. It's really how rap works, but I don't know. It's just funny they put it in the movie like that,
Yeah, that should look interesting.
Yeah, it was underrated.
Yeah, I fuck with that. Speaking of movies, y'all see that Twister ad during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm good. Twister. I ain't buying it.
They bring a Twister, but you ever seen Twister before?
What?
You never seen Twister before? The movie Twister? With the tornadoes and shit?
Man,
for real?
You ain't never seen Twister before?
What the fuck I look like watching a movie about storms?
This is a 90s classic.
That was a classic movie, bro.
I ain't watching no fucking Twister.
Movie you told us about last week.
Huh?
That old ass movie last week from the 70s. I've never
heard any story. Everybody's seen Never Ending Story. And if you haven't, you got to watch it. This shit is really some
that movie is trash, bro. Ass cheek.
I'm not saying
that's an ass cheek movie.
I'm not saying the movie is good. The concept is elite. No. The movie is not good, especially for today's time.
Twister was a classic in the 90s.
It's a great movie.
It was. I mean, you ain't never seen it, so you can't even say, well.
Never seen it. It's like, think about like they've made natural disaster movies on like tsunamis or something. Like it's a action.
None of them are good.
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
No, I'm not good.
I saw it. Not interested in a remake, but at the same time, I am interested in the Roadhouse remake that they got. So
what remake?
Roadhouse.
That one look like an action movie, like superheroes or some shit, ain't it?
Roadhouse.
They do a little different.
Patrick Swayze was like a bouncer. It's almost like a karate type movie, but it's like an old timey joint. This new one is Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor is, I think, the bad guy in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Probably won't be that good, but I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, but
damn remake.
Twister shit, you know, motherfuckers just lazy with these movies now. They just keep bringing up old 90s movies and trying to remake them. So
nobody wants to take no risk.
I'm interested in seeing it though, because I like Twister. Twister was a good movie.
I might watch it eventually. I don't watch that many movies.
The most interesting clip or preview I saw was the Planet of the Apes movie.
I didn't even see that.
I didn't see that either.
How many Planet of the Apes are there?
For a shitload now.
35 movies.
The Kingdom of Planet of the Apes on this one.
I think I seen like one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. I think I might have seen one. I wasn't impressed. I'm not into that kind of style.
No, I like it.
It was okay. It was okay.
It's an interesting movie. I like the science fiction shit. I think those either is based on a true story or science fiction. Those are the two best. Like, you know,
based on a true story or based on nothing.
Makes sense.
Science fiction shit. Some of that science fiction shit be real. I'm just saying it's not like real as in exactly how it happened, but it has a real meaning to it if you can find it. But yeah,
I need science fiction to be very, very well done. There are a few, and they're really awesome when they do it well. I'm just not interested in a lot of them.
Star Wars.
That's not one for me. it might be good. It's just that one's too old.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go backwards on that.
It's hard to watch the old stuff.
Yeah.
You know, now. So.
Never fuck with Star Wars.
Nah.
Well, my thing. Not my thing.
Nah, me neither.
Come on, man. Yeah. It's never too late.
It's true.
Any more grievances?
I don't. Really, the only one I had that I even came up with was I even lost that. I don't even know what it was. There's really not any point in rehashing anything with Carl. We're gonna come to the same conclusions, and I don't even mean to put that all on you. You're not going to say anything that we haven't already discussed to change my mind either. So I don't really have one, even though this is my idea. I apologize. Zion was the one. Zion was the one that I thought of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we do the whole discussion in 30 seconds. He's going to say, yeah, but look at his numbers when he does play. They're still incredible, which is true. I'll say he can't stay on the court, which is true. And we'll never know until his career is over if he was able to get his health right or not.
Well, no, based off just this season, hasn't been that good.
He has had really kind of low numbers this year.
Second, maybe third option on the team this season.
But I gotta be honest though. He is having the worst year of his career. But he's still putting up like 23 and 9 or something. Like it is still numbers that you would be impressed with if you take out the context of how many games he's missed and who it is.
Probably, but going in, he was destined to be the face of the league.
Yeah.
This is Brandon Ingram's team. And that's really what it's been for the last 2 seasons. So
don't disagree.
From face of the league to being the second or third option on your team is a huge fall off.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree. Talent and like actual will and determination are 2 different things. Zion struck me as a guy who was determined to be the greatest, but I'm not sure about that anymore. I do think talent-wise, he could easily be the best player in the league. Certainly top 2, top 3 year on and year out, but you got to stop going to the strip clubs, eating the chicken wings up every night.
You can do that as long as you ball.
You can't do that and be the best player in the league.
Not the best.
Yeah. You can't do that and be the guy.
That's right.
You ain't never seen the guy do that. You ain't never seen the guy be that guy having babies by strippers and shit. You ain't never seen the guy.
Right. I mean,
the face of the league be that guy.
I've seen the best have a lot of vices.
Yeah.
Jordan had plenty of vices. He was still the best.
Right, but he was focused on the game.
Sure, absolutely.
You gotta be focused on the
vices were after the game.
Yeah, right.
After the game ended, I'll drink and gamble all night. The game was
that flu game.
Once the game started,
it didn't matter. You ball. You know what I'm saying?
That game, y'all flew.
But again, I give LeBron a whole lot of shit. But I don't understand why most players just don't look at it and say, "This is what I want to be." Like I'm gonna try my best to be this dude. Like all they do is
LeBron's an anomaly. He's an anomaly.
It's not that hard.
It's not that many guys
I'm gonna say that it's not that hard to get money and stay out the way.
I don't know if it's if you've been the guy on magazine since you was in high school as the chosen one, there's a lot of guys that would have fell off or fell into that and not ball. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of guys gonna have it easier than LeBron did, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you got it easier than this motherfucker. He had more pressure than anybody, and all he did was stay out of trouble and focus on the game.
Yeah.
And I think he recently had a statement about that, like a whole lot of dudes worried about the material things and stuff that come with the game and not focused on the basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be focused on shit that happens on court. Like,
those idiots were killing him because he had a $3 million watch on when he said that. That wasn't his point.
Yeah, right.
I made my money, and like, there's nothing wrong with having material possessions.
Right.
It's like the focus, and people are so stupid.
And LeBron has always been known for being very, very frugal. Like, he's always been known, like, having stories about him being very tight with his money, even though he has made a lot of it over his career. But, so it is what it is.
Well, to be determined.
Y'all have any grievances to get off here?
Russell Westbrook has resurrected himself. Just want to throw that out there. Got a lot of hate, got a lot of blame for that Lakers debacle, but everywhere he's won, he's won. Everywhere he's won, been in the playoffs, except for that Lakers season, which he got the blame for after having the two best players be out for over half the season, and they blame Russ, which is wild to me. But being part of the Clippers has been a very vital part, even though they loaded, given they are loaded. But Lakers was considerably loaded when they was with him, and they ain't pan out. But Westbrook is still him. And at the end of the day, it's when all said and done, Hall of Fame, he'll be a top 10 point guard of all time. So I just want to throw that out.
Don't disagree with any of that. No, I will note that you said resurrection, meaning that he was dead.
No,
so that
I wouldn't say he was dead, though.
Just saying.
I'm saying resurrected in the form of everybody, and nobody can really deny who he is anymore. They can only use that one blip of a year with the Lakers that they tried to blame that whole season off on him, which I think it wasn't fair to blame him. But
he had a couple stops.
I think that was a stupid argument where people were blaming him completely for the Lakers failure.
Like, they blamed him like as soon as they signed him, or he's going to be the reason why they don't, like, he didn't even play a game yet, and they was already blaming the failure of the season on him. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
But, shout out to Russ.
I got no hate for Russ. I don't want to say anything negative. I like Russ. I'm happy for him.
It's a ball. Big time.
You got anything?
Nope, man. I'm leaving in peace.
All peace here, so
peace.
I don't really know how to close this out, but we appreciate y'all listening for all the years that you did listen.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for what Moss has going on in the future. We may be able to get some new content to you one way or the other.
But very possible.
We out of here.
It was a good run, man.
It was a great run.
Mm-hmm.
We love y'all. Peace out.
Peace.
Deuces.